and I yield back.
Thank you, Ranking Member DeLauro. Chairman Cole, with respect to the agencies that would operate under a CR, this bill keeps the government running at the same level it's been at since early 2024. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it was President Biden who initially signed these funding levels into law. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
This bill came out of the Senate with bipartisan support, correct?
That is correct.
Mr. Chairman, passing this legislation will take away any ambiguity about pay for America's war fighters. It'll bring certainty for SNAP payments. It will guarantee that air traffic controllers, federal law enforcement officers, and other federal workers will receive back pay. Is that correct?
That too is correct.
And there's no other solution on the table that has the bipartisan backing of the Senate. Is that correct?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
So voting against this bill would be a vote to continue that uncertainty to our military SNAP recipients and federal workers. Is that not the case?
That is indeed the case.
One more question. I have been astonished to hear our colleagues say that this Republican health care crisis was manufactured by President Trump. I mean, I'm sure if I asked the clerks to read that back, that's what they say. Would you refresh our memory as to what created the Affordable Care Act and how did we get here as a result of what happened during COVID? Would you mind doing that? President Trump was not in office in either of those cases. Is that correct?
That too is correct, Madam Chair. You know, I'm trying to limit how much time I use, how outrageous some of the statements I've heard are. The reality is, goes back to a fundamental defect in Obamacare itself, which is constantly driven. You know, the Affordable Care Act has made health care unaffordable. It's been doing it for 15 years. The basic subsidies are in law. Our friends on the other side during COVID decided we've got a crisis underway. We're going to add a subsidy on top of a subsidy.
The subsidy to what was called the Affordable Care Act, which was never affordable because we taxpayers who pay for our own insurance were subsidizing, correct?
That is absolutely correct. So again, it's a subsidy on top of a subsidy. Our friends added it during COVID. COVID is over. They set a date certain that these subsidies would run out. They chose the date.
And the date certain was?
December 31st of this year. So they chose that date. By the way, they did it without any Republican votes, without any consideration of reforms, without any effort to hold down the price. I mean, they literally are the big insurance companies' best friends. They funneled hundreds of billions of dollars into these things. But again, this is their legislation. They wrote it. They extended it. They added a subsidy to it. And they set the date at which that subsidy was to run out. President Trump certainly wasn't president when either the original legislation was created or this additional subsidy was added. So to blame it on him instead of looking in the mirror and blaming it on yourself is the height of hypocrisy. Yeah, this is a Democratic manufactured crisis that they're blaming on everybody but themselves. And at the same time, you know, well, as they're doing that, they've decided, well, I guess we don't need to pay our men and women in uniform that are defending us. Thank God President Trump twice has pulled rabbits out of a hat and made sure that didn't happen. or we're not going to pay our air traffic controllers, or our meat inspectors, or our Capitol Police that they celebrate so constantly and rightfully. So, I mean, come on. This is a totally manufactured crisis by Democrats. They've kept the government shut down. Finally, in the United States Senate, 8 pretty courageous people said, I'm not going to be part of this charade anymore. I'm going to vote to open the government. We can negotiate on these other issues. Majority Leader Thune, our own speaker, made it clear we're willing to do it. We're not going to, by the way, sign off on something that has been an utter disaster. And what the Democrats basically have asked for here is like $1.5 trillion over 10 years in exchange for a 4 or 7 week CR, or now one that will go a little bit longer since they've wasted most of the time. So, I mean, we shouldn't have any doubt about who created the crisis, who's perpetuating the crisis, and who's trying to capitalize on it politically. So I hope that answers your question.
That answers my question very well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. McGovern, you're recognized.
Yeah, so I just, you just made me think of something, Madam Chair. You said that this is merely an extension of the January